I pull into my mother's driveway in North Hollywood, the Sunday afternoon sun warming my shoulders through the car window. The familiar scent of gardenias from her front yard mingles with something savory drifting from the kitchen. Sunday dinner, a Roman family tradition as predictable as my father's complaints about the Dodgers and my sister's latest scheme to get rich quick. What isn't predictable is the energy humming through the house as I push open the front door. Something's different. My stomach tightens. Octavia, perfect timing. Mom calls from the dining room, her voice pitched higher than usual. That tone, I've heard it before, when she's especially proud of something Nala has done. It never bodes well for me. I follow her voice and freeze in the archway. My parents and Nala crowd around the dining table, hunched over what appear to be marketing materials glossy. Professional flyers spread across the mahogany surface. Dad's reading glasses perch on the end of his nose as he studies one. Nala's manicured finger points to something on another, her face flushed with excitement. Then I catch a glimpse of familiar text on one of the papers. My name, my credentials. Something cold slides down my spine. Come look at what your sister has put together, Mom says, waving me over with that smile, the one that says I should be impressed, that I should be supportive, that I should fall in line. I move forward, as if in slow motion, muscles locked tight to keep my expression neutral. Years of practice. Mom proudly hands me a flyer, her eyes bright. Isn't it wonderful? Look at the tagline. I read the words, each one landing like a stone in my stomach. Approved by our family's own nutrition expert Octavia Roman, RDN. My fingers tighten on the glossy paper. My credentials. My license. My years of education and training being used without my knowledge or permission. Nala bounces on her toes, unable to contain herself. It's a meal prep business, healthy food delivered right to people's doors. I've already got 20 pre-orders from people at my gym. 20? I managed to say, my voice hollow. I'm calling it Nala's Nourish Plan, she continues, not noticing or choosing to ignore my reaction. I've worked out all the finances. With your nutrition expertise backing it, people will pay premium prices. Dad looks up from the brochure, his expression making it clear he's already fully committed to this plan. You're not using that fancy degree anyway, Octavia. Might as well put it to work for the family. The family. Always the family. A memory surfaces. Me at 12. Studying at the kitchen table while everyone gathered in the living room to celebrate Nala making the junior varsity cheer squad. My perfect report card taped to the refrigerator, forgotten beneath Nala's crayon drawing. My college graduation, summa cum laude. Mom and Dad arriving late, leaving early because Nala had a date they needed to help her prepare for. My RDN license ceremony, the culmination of years of work. Only Dr. Winters, my mentor, in attendance while my family attended Nala's community theater performance. Years of giving free nutrition advice to every family member who asked, then watching them ignore it or take credit when it worked. Did you know, I say quietly, setting the flyer down with careful precision, that using an RDN's credentials without proper licensing and consent is a violation that could result in fines and penalties? For both of us? The room falls silent for a beat, then Dad waves his hand dismissively. Nobody follows those rules anyway. It's just government red tape. This is what family does for each other, Octavia. Mom adds, her tone suggesting I'm being difficult. We support each other's dreams. My dreams have never entered the equation. Your sister has worked so hard on this, Mom continues, pressing a hand to Nala's shoulder. The least you could do is help her succeed. Nala's eyes begin to well with tears, right on cue. I've seen this performance before, the trembling lip, the quick glance at our parents to make sure they're watching. Family comes before career. Dad says firmly, the statement heavy with expectation. It's not a suggestion, it's a command. Mom steps between us, playing her eternal role as mediator while somehow always landing on Nala's side. Honey, we're just asking for your signature on this form, allowing Nala to use your credentials on her marketing materials. It's such a small thing to ask. A small thing that could cost me my license, my reputation, my career. The weight of their expectations presses on me from all sides. A familiar burden I've carried my entire life. The responsible one. The one who sacrifices. The one who doesn't make waves. I need time to think about this, I say finally, knowing even this mild resistance will be seen as betrayal. The sighs of disappointment follow immediately, right on script. Don't let your sister down again, Mom says softly as I head for the door, the again striking like a slap. When have I ever let Nala down? When have I ever been anything but supportive? In my car, finally alone, I allow my composed expression to crack. But what emerges isn't tears. It's determination. My apartment feels too small tonight, walls closing in as I pace from living room to kitchen and back again. I can't shake the image of that flyer, my name, my credentials, my years of work reduced to a marketing bullet point for Nala's latest scheme. The glare of my laptop screen cuts through the darkness as I type my sister's name into the search bar. 3 clicks later, and there it is, evidence worse than I imagined. Nutritionally balanced meals approved by Octavia Roman, RDN. The text scrolls across Nala's Instagram page, beneath photos of meal containers arranged in perfect rows. Not just one post, dozens of them. Stretching back 3 months. My stomach clenches. This isn't new. This isn't a plan. This is already happening. I scroll further, finding customer comments beneath each post. Your dietitian's protein recommendations have helped my recovery so much. Can your RDN suggest options for diabetic-friendly meals? Love that these are created with professional nutritional oversight. Each comment lands like a physical blow. 3 months. 3 months of my sister selling meals under my professional stamp of approval. 3 months of potential liability accumulating, while I remained oblivious. My phone buzzes. Dr. Winters, my mentor from UCLA's nutrition program. Octavia, I saw your sister's meal prep ads on Facebook. Tell me that's not your RDN license being used without a proper business arrangement. My throat tightens as I answer. I just found out today. This isn't a small matter, she says, her voice uncharacteristically sharp. The board takes credential misuse seriously. Fines start at $5,000 and can reach $10,000, not to mention possible license suspension. I never agreed to any of this, I say, hearing the desperation in my voice. The board won't care if you knew. Your license, your responsibility. Doctor. Winters pauses. You need to shut this down immediately. After we hang up, I dive deeper into Nala's digital footprint. Her business page reveals meal preps priced at $14.99 each. A quick scroll through her weekly orders shows at least 200 units moving every 7 days. I grab a calculator. $3,000 weekly revenue. With ingredient costs around $5 per meal based on her simple recipes, she's clearing at least $2,000 in weekly profit, using my credentials. Without my knowledge. Without offering me a penny. A text from Marcus, a trainer I collaborate with at the gym, pops up on my phone. Client just asked if I knew about your sister's meal service. Said your name was all over the packaging. What's going on? Before I can respond, an email notification appears from the LA Health and Wellness Expo Committee. Octavia Roman, we'd love to feature your nutrition expertise at our upcoming event. The pieces fall into place with sickening clarity. The Expo is a major industry event. Nala isn't just using my credentials, she's banking on industry connections she doesn't have. I find my parents' Facebook pages next. Mom's latest post. So proud of Nala's entrepreneurial spirit with her new meal prep business, creating jobs for the family. Jobs for the family. The phrase triggers a memory from Sunday Mom, casually mentioning I should volunteer some time for meal packaging. Another scroll reveals Dad's post. My daughter's professional meal prep service, nutritionally designed by a certified RDN in the family. My hands shake as I close the laptop. The family conspiracy is deeper than I realized. This isn't just Nala, it's all of them, building a business on my back while expecting me to carry the liability. I grab my keys and drive to Nala's apartment without calling first. The surprise on her face when she opens the door quickly morphs into defensive irritation. You could have texted first, she says, blocking the doorway. Like you could have asked before using my RDN credentials? I push past her into the apartment kitchen, where meal containers line every surface. Stickers with my name and credentials sit in neat stacks beside them. I need these removed immediately, I say, picking up a sheet of labels. All of them. Every mention of me, my credentials, every claim of RDN approval gone by tomorrow. You're overreacting, Nala says, crossing her arms. It's just marketing. It's fraud, I counter, and it could cost me my license. Nobody cares about these technicalities, she says, echoing Dad's dismissal. The licensing board cares. The health department cares. I pull up the regulatory guidelines on my phone and thrust it toward her. Fines start at $5,000 and can reach $10,000. plus potential license suspension. For the first time, uncertainty flickers across her face. You wouldn't report your own sister? I won't have to if you remove every mention of my credentials immediately. Fine, she says finally, tears welling up right on cue. I'll change the labels. And the social media posts, all of them. She nods, lips trembling. I need to see it done, I insist, not trusting her tears. Tonight. 3 hours later, I watch as she deletes the last Instagram post mentioning my credentials. She's sullen, resentful, but compliant for now. We should discuss terms, she says as I prepare to leave, a calculating gleam replacing the tears. If you want to be officially involved, we could work something out. I pause at the door. Terms is the first acknowledgement that my professional contribution has value, a small victory in a battle I never wanted to fight. We can discuss it, I say carefully, after you've secured proper business permits and health department approvals. Her silence tells me she has neither. As I drive home, text messages from my parents light up my phone. I ignore them. This fight is just beginning, and I need to prepare. The next morning, my phone buzzes for the 7th time in an hour. I know it's Mom without looking. The first 6 texts followed a predictable pattern: concern, disappointment, guilt. Each message is a carefully placed brick in the wall of family obligation they've been building around me since childhood. I swipe the notification away and continue reviewing the commercial lease agreement spread across my kitchen table. The North Hollywood property costs more than I'd planned, but the location is perfect equidistant from 3 upscale gyms whose clients have the disposable income for personalized nutrition plans. The phone buzzes again. This time I glance down. Asterisk. You're breaking your sister's heart. Family helps family. Call me. Asterisk. I set the phone face down and return to the lease. The landlord wants a 2-year commitment. I've been saving for 5 years, living in an apartment half the size I could afford, driving a car with 180,000 miles on it. I have enough for the deposit, first 3 months' rent, and basic equipment. My father's voice barges into my thoughts uninvited. Asterisk. You're not using that fancy degree anyway. Asterisk. But I am. Every day with my clients, every meal plan I design, every transformation I guide. The doorbell rings. I'm not expecting anyone. Doctor. Winters stands on my doorstep, her silver hair pulled back in her trademark no-nonsense bun, a leather portfolio tucked under one arm. You look terrible, she says, brushing past me into the apartment. Have you been sleeping? Not much. I close the door behind her. What brings you here? She sets her portfolio on the counter and extracts a folder. The health department finally processed your application. You're officially permitted to operate a meal preparation facility, assuming the space passes inspection. I take the folder with both hands, another piece falling into place. You're really doing this, she says, studying my face. I am. Good. She pulls out a second folder. The LA Health and Wellness Expo Committee wants you as a featured speaker. Ethical nutrition, building trust through compliance. 20 minutes, main stage, Saturday afternoon. My stomach tightens, the same expo where Nala's planning to launch. Dr. Winters raises an eyebrow. Is she? She posted about it yesterday, with my credentials still attached to her business name. Dr. Winters's mouth thins to a hard line. Then perhaps it's fortunate I brought this. She produces a third folder. The health code requirements for temporary food facilities at public events. Every violation carries a $750 fine. I leaf through the pages: temperature control requirements, hand washing stations, permit displays. The knot in my stomach loosens slightly. Rules, structure, requirements. The antithesis of Nala's approach to everything. Thank you. I close the folder. For all of this. She waves away my gratitude. You earned it. I didn't carry you through your certification. You did the work. The work. Years of study, while my family attended Nala's community theater performances, nights analyzing nutritional research while they celebrated her landing a commercial callback. Weekends studying for exams, while they helped her move into a new apartment, the security deposit a gift from our parents. My phone buzzes again. A text from Marcus. Got you wholesale prices on the Kaiser equipment. Call me asterisk. Dr. Winters notices the smile that touches my lips. Your gym colleague? Yes, he's helping with equipment sourcing. Good. You need allies. She studies the lease on my table. When do you sign? Tomorrow. She nods, satisfied. I'll be there. You don't have to. Anyone. I will be there, she repeats firmly. After she leaves, I stand in my kitchen, surrounded by paperwork, the architecture of my future taking shape. My phone buzzes with yet another text. From an unknown number this time. Hi Octavia, this is Joanne from BFit Studio. Marcus gave me your number. Do you have space for a new client? I need someone who actually understands nutrition science, not just Instagram trends. Asterisk. Before I can respond, another text arrives from a different unknown number. Octavia, Sam here from Marcus's gym. Can I get on your waiting list for when you open your place? Heard great things. Asterisk. The validation feels strange, uncomfortable almost, like shoes in the correct size after years of wearing hand-me-downs too small for my feet. My doorbell rings again. This time, it's a delivery the business cards I ordered last week. I run my fingers over the embossed letters. Octavia Roman, RDN, Evidence-Based Nutrition and Fitness. My name. My credentials, my terms. I tack one to my bulletin board and stand back to look at it. For years, I've helped my clients set boundaries with unsupportive family members and friends who undermine their health goals. You're allowed to prioritize your well-being. I've told them countless times. Your health isn't negotiable. The irony doesn't escape me. That night, I dream of my college graduation. In reality, my parents had arrived late and left early for Nala's theater performance. In my dream, no one comes at all. I stand alone in my cap and gown, diploma in hand, surrounded by other graduates embracing their families. I wake at 3 a.m., the familiar ache of invisibility throbbing in my chest. Unable to sleep, I dress and drive to the 24-hour gym, where I've been a member for years. The night manager nods as I enter. We have an understanding. I don't expect conversation at this hour, and neither does he. I move through my routine methodically. Each rep, each set, a meditation in movement. With every pound I lift, the ache recedes slightly. By the time I finish, sweat soaking my shirt, the sky outside has lightened to a pale gray. On the drive home, my phone rings. It's my mother. At 5:30 inches the morning. Octavia, thank goodness. Your father and I are worried sick. You haven't responded to any of our messages. I'm fine, Mom. Well, we need to talk about Nala's situation. She's devastated by your lack of support. She's had to remake all her marketing materials. The financial impact is significant. The old guilt rises like floodwater, threatening to drown my resolve. I pull over to the side of the road and close my eyes. Mom, I need to go. I have an appointment. At this hour, with whom? With myself. I end the call before she can respond. Later that morning, I stand in the empty commercial space that will become my gym. Sunlight streams through the large front windows, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Marcus walks the perimeter, measuring and making notes. HVAC system is solid, he says. Plumbing needs work, especially for the kitchen area. I know a guy who can do it for half what the building's contractor quoted you. I nod, mentally adding it to my spreadsheet of expenses. You know she's gonna show up at the Expo, he says, not looking at me. Your sister? I know. With your family backing her. I know that too. He stops measuring and turns to face me. Are you ready for that? The question hangs in the air between us. Am I ready to stand opposite my family, to publicly claim space they've never willingly granted me? Yes, I say, surprising myself with the certainty in my voice. I'm ready. That afternoon, I meet with the small business attorney Dr. Winters recommended. She reviews my LLC formation documents, nodding approvingly. Everything looks in order, she says, sliding the papers across her desk for my signature. Once we file these, you'll be officially in business. I sign each page, my signature growing firmer with each stroke of the pen. Dr. Winters present as well. That night, alone in my apartment, I take out my framed RDN certificate. For years, it's hung in my bedroom where only I could see it. Tomorrow, it will hang in my gym where everyone can see it. My phone buzzes with a notification. An email from the Expo committee confirming my speaking slot and my booth location. I open the attached map and feel my pulse quicken. Directly across from my assigned space is another booth, labeled Nala's Nourish Plan. As if on cue, my phone rings. Mom's name flashes on the screen. We need to talk about the Expo situation, her voicemail says after I let it go to voicemail. Your father and I think we found a compromise. I set the phone down and return to reviewing the health code requirements for temporary food facilities. A strange calm settles over me as I highlight the sections on proper temperature control and food handling certifications. For the first time in my life, I'm not worried about disappointing my family. They should be worried about disappointing me. On Sunday, I arrive at the Los Angeles Health and Wellness Expo 3 hours before the doors open, the pre-dawn darkness still clinging to the convention center as I pull into the loading zone. My booth materials sit neatly packed in labeled containers, everything meticulously organized according to the Expo handbook specifications. Need help with those? A staff member approaches as I lift the first container from my trunk. I've got it, thanks. The weight feels good in my arms, a physical reminder of the preparation that's brought me here. Inside, the cavernous hall buzzes with early morning activity. Vendors construct elaborate displays while staff zip around on small electric carts. I locate my assigned space B42 and begin methodically setting up my booth. Every container unpacks exactly as planned. My banner with Octavia Roman, RDN, Nutrition and Fitness Solutions, unfurls without a wrinkle. Temperature-monitored sample cases click into place, and my permit documentation folder rests prominently on the display counter. By 7:30 a.m., 2 hours before opening, I stand back to assess my work. The booth gleams with professional simplicity, a stark contrast to the flashy displays around me. My samples are properly refrigerated, thermometers visible. My business cards, featuring my RDN credentials with the license number clearly printed, sit in neat stacks beside brochures outlining my new gym's meal prep service. A commotion across the main aisle catches my attention. Nala. She directs 2 hired helpers in setting up a booth directly opposite mine, a placement that can't be coincidental. Her display features hot pink banners emblazoned with Nala's Nourish Plan in glittering letters, and photos of meal preps arranged in an Instagram-worthy cascade. Not a temperature monitor in sight. No visible permits. I busy myself arranging my presentation materials, pretending not to notice when our parents arrive, carrying additional boxes for Nala's booth. Mom catches my eye and waves hesitantly. I nod acknowledgement but continue working. 45 minutes before opening, a line of fitness professionals has formed near my booth colleagues who received my preview emails about the presentation. Marcus, my gym equipment supplier, gives me a thumbs up from the coffee station. Octavia, Dad's voice behind me. Your mother and I wanted to support both our daughters today. I turn to face him, keeping my expression professionally neutral. That's nice. He glances around my booth, his eyebrows lifting slightly at the organized display. Your sister could use some help with her permit forms. The inspector's making rounds soon. I'm sure she can handle it. I adjust my name badge, making sure my credentials are visible. Family helps family, he says, lowering his voice. Nala's worked hard on this business. So have I. I meet his gaze steadily, and I've done it legally. Mom appears at his elbow, her smile strained. Sweetheart, we're so proud of both our girls. Surely you can spare 5 minutes to help your sister? Before I can respond, a woman in a gray suit approaches, clipboard in hand. Health Department. I'm Inspector Davis. Which vendor am I speaking with? Octavia Roman, RDN. I extend my hand. Booth B42. She nods, checking her list. You're on my morning rounds. Let's take a look. The inspection proceeds with methodical precision. She checks my temperature logs, examines my sample storage, reviews my business license, and temporary food service permit. She notes my ServSafe certification and verifies my RDN credentials. Everything appears to be in compliance, she says, initialing my form. Excellent preparation, Miss Roman. Not everyone takes food safety this seriously. Thank you. The validation feels better than I expected. She moves directly across to Nala's booth. I busy myself greeting early arrivals but can't help noticing the inspection growing increasingly tense. Inspector Davis's voice rises as she points to various violations. Nala's gestures become more animated, her face flushing to match her pink banners. Miss, without proper refrigeration and permits, you cannot serve food samples, the inspector states firmly. These temperature readings are well outside safe ranges. But my sister, Nala points toward my booth. Your sister's operation is properly permitted and equipped. Inspector Davis cuts her off, pulling an orange tag from her clipboard. This booth is non-compliant. You may remain to distribute information, but no food service is permitted. The orange non-compliant sign goes up just as the expo doors open to the public. Mom rushes to Nala's side, patting her arm while throwing apologetic glances to curious onlookers. Dad confronts the inspector, his voice rising about excessive regulation and small business harassment. I greet my first visitors, maintaining my focus despite the scene unfolding across the aisle. Attention Expo attendees. Comes an announcement over the PA system. Our featured speaker series begins at 11 a.m. with registered dietitian nutritionist Octavia Roman presenting safe and legal meal prep. Building a sustainable nutrition businesses, in Seminar Room C. A fresh wave of visitors approaches my booth, some glancing curiously between my professional setup and Nala's orange tag display. 2 fitness influencers I recognize from Instagram ask about potential collaborations. A gym owner inquires about wholesale options for his clients. She did this on purpose. Nala's voice carries across the aisle. She's not even attempting to lower her volume. She reported me to make herself look better. Mom tries to quiet her while Dad glares in my direction. Several extended family members who've come to support Nala stand awkwardly nearby, witnessing the entire meltdown. I maintain my professional demeanor, explaining my meal prep subscriptions to an interested fitness coach. Inside, a steady calm has replaced the anxious flutter that's lived in my chest for years. This isn't about revenge, it's about standards and consequences. By mid-morning, my presentation draws a standing room crowd. Business cards disappear from my display. My tablet continuously pings with membership sign-ups and payment confirmations. Through the seminar room's glass wall, I catch a glimpse of my family packing up Nala's booth, the orange tag still prominently displayed. They leave without a word to me. As the day continues, congratulatory messages flood my phone. Colleagues stop by to express admiration for my presentation. Even as part of me aches for the family relationships now damaged, possibly beyond repair, a deeper part recognizes this moment for what it is: not just professional success, but personal liberation. I watch the steady stream of interested professionals visiting my booth, their respect evident in their questions and attention. My quiet preparation has spoken more loudly than any confrontation ever could. Sometimes, silence, followed by excellence, is the most powerful response of all. On Sunday afternoon, I arrive at my parents' house 30 minutes after their urgent text. The driveway already holds 3 cars: my father's Lincoln, my mother's Subaru, and Nala's candy apple red Mustang convertible that she couldn't afford but financed anyway. The aftermath of the expo still hangs in the air like smoke. The front door opens before I can knock. Mother rushes forward, her hands fluttering around my shoulders without quite touching me. "Everyone's waiting in the dining room," she says, voice pitched for reconciliation. "We need to talk about what happened." I nod, following her inside. My folder of evidence weighs heavy under my arm. The dining room tableau looks staged: Nala at the table with red-rimmed eyes, Dad standing with arms crossed by the window. The moment I enter, Nala's waterworks activate on cue. "How could you?" she demands, mascara artfully smudged. "You humiliated me in front of everyone." I set my folder on the table without responding, unbothered by the accusation. 3 days ago, it would have cut deep. Now, it feels like watching an old movie whose ending I already know. "The health inspector shut you down, Nala, not me." Dad turns from the window. "This petty competition between you two has gone far enough." Competition? The word nearly makes me laugh. There was never any competition. Mother slides into peacemaker mode. "Honey, we're just trying to understand why you couldn't share your success with your sister. Family supports family." "Does family steal from family?" I ask quietly. "Nobody stole anything," Dad snaps. "Your sister had a setback because of technicalities. Technicalities you could have helped her navigate." I open my folder and place the first document on the table. This is a screenshot from Nala's Instagram. Notice the date: 3 months ago. She was already using my credentials before asking permission. Nala's crying pauses momentarily before resuming with renewed vigor. I lay down a second document. Health Department citation. Preparing food in an uncertified kitchen. No food handler permit. No business license. These aren't technicalities. They're laws. Mother reaches for my hand. "Octavia, we understand you're upset." "I'm not upset. I'm drawing boundaries." I continue laying down papers. This is a financial analysis of what Nala's business would have cost me. If she'd been caught using my credentials without consent, I'd face fines up to $10,000 and license suspension. The room falls silent except for Nala's sniffling. You've always been so petty about your accomplishments, Mother says, disappointment heavy in her tone. Why can't you be generous? My name isn't community property, I say, voice steady. It's not something you can borrow when convenient. We're talking about family, Dad thunders, but something in my expression makes him falter mid-sentence. I wait. For the first time in my life, my family has nothing to say. Nala knew about the permit requirements. I continue, placing the final document on the table. Here's her correspondence with the health department from January. They explicitly told her what she needed. Nala's tears stop abruptly. That woman was totally unhelpful. She was doing her job, I counter. Just like I'm doing mine. Father's gaze shifts to the business card at the top of my papers. Octavia Roman, RDN owner, Total Balance Fitness and Nutrition. Something changes in his expression. Your own place? He asks, his voice smaller than I've ever heard it. Opened last month. 120 members already. Mother blinks rapidly. You never mentioned. You never asked. Nala wipes her eyes, calculation replacing tears as she studies me. Not as the reliable older sister, but as someone she hadn't properly assessed. I'm not here to argue. I say, gathering my documents. I'm here to establish terms. My name and credentials are not available for anyone's use. Not even family. Especially not family. If you attempt to use them again, I'll report it immediately. You'd do that to your own sister? Mother whispers. I'd protect my professional license from anyone who threatened it. Father sinks into a chair, age suddenly visible in the slump of his shoulders. And what about this family? Are you walking away from that too? That depends on you. I say, I'm happy to help Nala pursue legitimate certification if she's serious. I'll even mentor her through proper business setup, but only if my boundaries are respected. The silence stretches, heavy with decades of unspoken expectations. I should go, I say finally. I have clients waiting. Nobody tries to stop me as I walk to the door. No emotional pleas or manipulative sighs follow me. The absence feels like fresh air after years underground. In my car, I check my watch. Still time to swing by the gym before my evening appointments. My phone buzzes with new membership notifications, 5 more today. I drive away from the house without looking back. The street's familiar, but the direction new. At the first stoplight, I exhale fully for what feels like the first time in years. Let them think what they want. My name belongs to me now. I unlock the door to my gym at 5:30 in the morning, a full hour before my first client arrives. 4 weeks since the Expo, and the smell of fresh paint has finally faded, replaced by the clean scent of sanitized equipment and the faint aroma of yesterday's meal prep lingering from the kitchen. 123 members. The number still stuns me when I check the system each morning. Light filters through the east-facing windows as I walk the empty space, running my hand along the smooth surface of the reception desk. My reception desk. My gym. My vision. My phone buzzes. Another text from Mom. 3rd one this week. Just checking in, honey. Dad and I were talking about maybe stopping by to see your place. Let us know if that would be okay. I place the phone face down on the desk without responding. Not yet. The boundaries still feel too new, too fragile. The wall calendar catches my eye today. Marks exactly 1 month since opening day. 1 month of proving what's possible when you refuse to cut corners. 1 month of silence speaking louder than any argument could. Marcus arrives at 6:15, his keys jingling as he pushes through the door. Morning, boss lady. He grins, dropping his gym bag near the staff lockers. Big day, huh? 1 month down. Empire in the making. Empire in the making. 1 month of not getting more than 5 hours of sleep, I counter, but can't help smiling. Worth it though, right? He gestures toward the whiteboard where our revenue projections have been consistently exceeded each week. The Nourish and Move membership package is killing it. The irony doesn't escape me. Nala's failed Nourish plan has become our most popular offering, reborn as something legitimate, something built on solid ground. Have you heard from your sister lately? Marcus asks, reading my mind as he often does. Indirectly, Mom mentioned she's looking into actual certification programs. I shrug, surprised by how little I feel about it now. Good for her, if she follows through. By 7, the morning crowd begins to arrive. Professionals stopping in before work, retirees avoiding the midday rush. They greet me by name, ask questions about their meal plans, share progress from the previous week. No one here sees me as just the responsible one. No one diminishes my credentials or expects me to sacrifice my standards. At noon, I slip away to my weekly therapy session with Dr. Lloyd. Another choice my family would never understand, spending good money just to talk about feelings. How's the boundary maintenance going? She asks after we settle in. Easier than I expected, I admit, though Mom keeps testing the waters. And your father? Radio silence. I don't elaborate. The absence of his criticism feels almost peaceful. By evening, the gym bustles with after-work clients. At 7, I lock the front door and flip the sign to close it. The staff my chosen family gather in the break room, where I've arranged a small celebration. 1 month ago, I begin, raising a glass of sparkling cider. None of this existed. No proper permits, no health department approval, no legitimate business. No sleep, Marcus adds, earning laughter from everyone. To doing things right, Dr. Winters says, raising her glass. My mentor had driven across town to be here tonight, and to the future dietitians who will benefit from Octavia's scholarship fund. The announcement catches me off guard. It's just an idea I've been playing with, I explain, feeling my cheeks warm, for nutrition students who want to do things ethically. It's brilliant, says Tessa, my newest trainer, just like your certification program concept. We talk late into the evening, sharing stories of family expectations and professional struggles. I'm not the only one who's had to choose between peace and integrity. After everyone leaves, I walk through the darkened gym alone. The wall of member transformation photos, still small but growing weekly, captures my attention. Real results. Honest work. My phone buzzes again. Mom. I slip it back into my pocket without reading the message, smiling as I turn out the lights. Sometimes, careful preparation and silence are the strongest comeback. I didn't have to hurt anyone, the truth did it for me.